to do the opening remarks in place of Mercy Wanjau, who is the acting DG Communication Authority of Kenya, is represented by Mr. Christopher Kimeu, who's the Director of Universal Service Fund. And he was with us just now, and we will see if he will be with us. Okay. Yes, now we have. Great. Much welcome, Mr. Kimeu, for your remarks. And now you're seated with the lights behind you. If it's possible, try to have some light in front of you so that we can see you also. Perfect. Now, there you are. Great. Asante and welcome. Karibu.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I will be delivering some few remarks on behalf of the Acting Director General, Mrs. Mercy Wanjau, who, as much as she wished to have been with us this morning, it was not possible. So she asked me to deliver this message to the conference. Mr. Cyril Lacera, Siewe, the Program Officer, Chemicals and Wastes of the UNEP Nairobi, Mr. Pascal Leroy, Director General of the West Electrical and Electronic Equipment Center, Mr. Ibukun Fulia, the Executive Secretary of EPRON, Nigeria, Mr. Luca Campardello of Irion, Italy, Dr. Ali Simba of IACO, the Executive Secretary of IACO, Mamo B. Mamo, Director General of NEMA, Boniface Mbithi, CEO of the West Electrical and Electronic Equipment, distinguished guests and speakers, the E-West stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to join you at this inaugural African Sustainable E-West Conference and Expo, which has an apt theme of unlocking the potential in sustainable e-waste management while achieving a circular economy. I wish to thank the West Electrical and Electronic Equipment Center for organizing this continental event that provides all the stakeholders with a chance to evaluate the efforts to address the e-waste challenge that ironically is a byproduct of the strides made in enhancing access to ICT services for our people, for example. Indeed, this explains our interest in this area, since the industry we regulate is probably the greatest generator of e-waste. We are cognizant of the fact that we are having this conference at a time the region is still reeling from the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, whose impact has been twofold. On one hand, the pandemic has battered our economies to a great scale and slowed down overall growth indicators. On the other hand, it has led to a surge in uptake of ICTs, which have played a key role in coping with the COVID pandemic. In Kenya, for instance, data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that the value of Kenyan telecommunication gadgets imports, including computers, laptops, smartphones, are surged more than half to Kenya shillings 8 billion in 4 months of the COVID-19 lockdown. This is because people started working from home and education institutions turned to electronic learning. But this positive trend dovetails into today's conversation on the risk posed by e-waste, not only in Kenya, but also regionally, and thus the need to have creative ways in addressing this emerging issue. Another area of concern has to do with the influx of counterfeit electronic devices, often substandard and with a shorter lifespan, contributing to a high level of e-waste and threatening the entire value chain. It is for this reason that the authority works hand in hand with the Kenya Bureau of Standards to ensure that what is imported into this country meets the minimum standards as a way of addressing the first R of reduce e-waste. Huge amounts of e-waste in our homes, workplace, and dumping points need concerted efforts by all stakeholders, including manufacturers and suppliers of these devices, as well as users and regulators for effective disposal mechanism. Such engagements go a long way in raising the importance of e-waste and encourage consumers to correctly dispose of their e-waste with emphasis on reuse and recycling. It is our expectation that the ongoing efforts to have in place specific e-waste and extended producer responsibility regulations in Kenya and the East African region as a whole will strengthen the above collaborative initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, let me recognize the efforts of WEEE Center in ensuring that there is refurbishment and donation of ICT gadgets for reuse. I also underscore their efforts in collection and recycling of e-waste across Africa. E-waste is the fastest growing waste stream in the world, with statistics painting a rather grim picture. As an emerging phenomenon, e-waste, if not well checked, can be a severe human health and environmental disaster. However, better management of e-waste can also create business and economic benefits, as I can see that this will be discussed in this conference. At the regulatory level, there is need to be carefully regulated producers to assist countries in managing an end of life cycles of electronic and electrical products, which is generally shorter than 3 years. But besides bringing the e-waste challenge into the public consciousness, all of us gathered here still need to complement this discussion by ensuring that we make the right procurement choices of electronic devices and ensuring that we make electronic products last longer through e-friendly designs and repairs. Distinguished stakeholders, in Kenya, we are making strides to address the e-waste menace. In line with the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, guidelines on e-waste management and the Ministry of Environment and Forestry National e-waste management strategy, the ICT regulator has undertaken a number of interventions along this policy direction. Firstly, we have made it a requirement for licensees to ensure that their telecommunication installations do not become a health hazard, environmental or safety hazard. Secondly, that such facilities are not in contravention of any statute, rule, code of practice, guidelines, or regulations on public safety requirements. Lastly, the licensees are required to ensure that the license system comply with the relevant environmental laws. I wish to report that we are currently exploring how to encourage the ICT players to adopt the consumer take-back schemes to ensure that e-waste is better managed. The authority, as a member of the National E-Waste Management Committee headed by the Minister of Environment and Forestry, participates in numerous initiatives aimed at better managing e-waste in this country. The other initiatives include aligning our assessment processes to ensure that only green ICT equipments are type approved for use in this country. We have also developed infrastructure sharing guidelines, which will, among others, reduce the negative environmental impact by ICT installations. On a smaller scale, the authority has also installed enough e-waste specific bins within premises and have in place related disposal mechanisms which promote the use of licensed e-waste handlers. Distinguished participants, at the regional level, we are an active member in the ongoing e-waste management initiatives where we are the chair of the technical working group responsible for e-waste management and green ICTs within the East African Community Organization, popularly known as YACO. The authority also participates in e-waste management at the international level in the various initiatives rolled out by the International Telecommunications Union. Kenya participates in relevant ITU study groups and has incorporated some of the ITU recommendations in the guidelines on the minimum features and technical specifications for mobile cellular devices imported and distributed in Kenya. This initiative assists the first R of e-waste management, which is to reduce e-waste. I wish to reiterate that we remain committed to the ideals and ongoing efforts on e-waste management and will stay committed to the principles of the circular economy. With that, it is now my singularly honor and duty to declare the first East African Sustainable e-waste Conference and Expo officially open. I wish you all a fruitful discussion. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kimeu. That was wonderful. I totally agree with all of what you've been saying and pointing out the economic benefits that are possible, the green procurement that is necessary for us to really move forward quickly, repairing and extending life, enhancing the retention value for all the products and materials that we have, making take-back schemes possible and helping each other with that. And also by that, I want to thank the Communications Authority by being such good role models, having e-waste bins in all your offices and collecting e-waste. So that is great. Thank you so much, Mr. Kimeu. Now, we will see if there are any questions straight away here. No. Okay. So I will go through it again, how to do this, because now I see that we are 95 people within the whole platform, and then additionally 50 looking at this. So when you go to your right-hand side, you have different buttons which shows who the partners are, the discussion, and then a Q&A, and you can write any kind of question that you want us to highlight and bring up during the panel discussion later on, or even right now we could do. You have the panelists, you have the polls, and actually I've seen that they are still open, so that's good, and many more have been answering the polls. So now we know that 43% have been in the e-waste industry more than less than 1 year. And then we have 38% more than 3 years, and 19% are new at this with e-waste. Wonderful to have you all here. And then which continent? We have 80% from Africa right now, 12 from Europe, 14 from North America, and 4 from Asia. Welcome. Warm welcome.